Anyways, if you're following along, which of course you are, every single one of you must be following along this seemingly unending journey of game analysis that I have begun on YouTube. But basically, I have 4 rounds left to go in the World Cup, and my record is 15-12 before this game that I'm about to show. And yeah, I just lost a game to Kevin Fraley. It's a very tense game. Took a lot of energy out of me, and some drama occurred. Some drama occurred at the tournament scene. The top director. What's the actual word I'm looking for other than top? Anyways, one of the directors of the tournament had to leave urgently. And as a result, left everything for the other two directors who were not very familiar with the pairing software and everything that that entails. Yeah, so Mike Johnson was the, I guess, top director who's doing all the pairings and stuff. And something weird happened with the pairings. I think they tried to pair it, and then it had me and this other guy, Peter Schmiedicke, as not playing anybody this round. So instead of us being paired, both of us were not supposed to play anybody. So we were both going to get a bye. It was very, very weird. And this was great for Peter, who's coming in as one of the lower seeds in the tournament, and not good for me because my average result against Peter was higher than the result you get from a bye, which is 50 points of spread and a win. So, although I might have been happy if it was like against someone like equally skilled or equally rated, I was not happy to get a bye here, and I was just like, why don't we just play and like you guys can fill in the results or something, like figure it out when Mike returns. And I think they figured it out, but they had already talked to Peter and told him that he should probably wait and see if he was going to play a game or not. But he was nowhere to be found. So I was just sitting there like very upset because I needed more than a win by 50 to like cash in the tournament. I really needed to win by a lot whenever the opportunity presented itself. And yeah, I was pretty upset, but there's nothing you can do, and it was an urgent situation. So I just waited and waited, and like all the games that started, I was just chilling, and I guess I was able, as a result, to like sort of chill out after the last game, which was very tense. And then Peter came back. And so we got to play our game, which was great. So yeah, that is my story, and I'm sticking with it. But that's what happened, and sat down to play. And there was also a part of me that was okay with with the potential plus 50 bye result, because I had noticed that Peter had been coughing a lot, and there were already some confirmed cases of COVID. at the tournament, so I wasn't super like thrilled with the idea of playing someone who was like right across from me just coughing all the time. But yeah, we did sit down to play, and Peter opened with a bingo of Outrace. And like um this was like the 10th time in 28 games that my opponent opened with a bingo. And if you were if you watched the last video I had on YouTube, I had people guess how likely it was that an opponent would open with a bingo in 9 of 27 games, putting the likelihood of an opening bingo at around 1 in 7, which is somewhat close to the truth, not exactly. And the answer to that question is for exactly 9, it's around like 0.7%, the likelihood of that happening. And if it was exactly 3, if it was exactly 4, which was kind of supposed to be, the likelihood of that occurring is like 22%. But the 9 is like quite the outlier at 1%. And now 10 out of 28 is even more insane. It's like, I think it's like 0.5% that would ever happen. But all this being said, I also open with a bingo. So it's all good. I play Unworthy, and I actually have a better bingo here, which is insane. But Thrawnly, which is a word I am completely unfamiliar with, is 114 points in this spot. I feel like I've never seen this word, even though I definitely have at least once or twice. I've seen this word at least twice for sure, because I've studied it. But I just completely forgot of its existence. And seeing it here, I actually went to check if I was in the right setting. But Thrawnly was 114. But I was happy enough with Unworthy for 101. Thrawnly. Incredible. So I shouldn't be complaining about the opening bingo. It's just the concept of it happening so often, you know? Here, Peter plays Oral for 16. Yeah, I probably am. And here I had this rack where I could play Preview for 22, Review for 18, Veep for 13, or Peeve for 31. And I went with Peeve. Even though it opens a big triple spot, it does block a decent amount of scoring plays along the J and L columns, and scores well. But all these plays are probably very, very similar in value to one another. And on another day, I might have made another one of them. Yeah, here I played Peeve. And Peter plays Ziggs for 40. And I respond with a very similar play of Cheese, 42. I could play Souk. And it's actually potentially close between that and like Prim. Prim keeping the Q and potentially drawing into even better Q plays. And getting rid of the triple spot. I mean, Prim keeps Souk and QIS. And might make both of those plays better next turn. Because they won't leave. Here, QIS leaves IU, and SUQ leaves II. But after Prim, if I pull up the details here, it says Our next turn after Prim, we average 55 points. And the only reason for that is that there are an incredible amount of great floating letters out in space. The R, the T, even the E. The E helps a lot. I draw a lot of just 6-letter words with the E. And had I seen the potential value of the Q with all these floating letters, probably would have played Prim. And especially, I can draw into a decent amount of things like misquote or mesquite. Binac knows about mesquite. And yeah, it's just like the Q is totally OP after Prim. That's pretty incredible. All right. Very interesting. I can't type. All right. So I played QIS. Sorry, Binac. Bring back bad memories. And here Peter plays not that, but the proper spelling. Kopje. However the hell you're supposed to pronounce it. Really, really great find. Finding this word by itself is quite the accomplishment. But finding it through a blank O is really impressive. So that was a great find. And here, I draw kind of poorly. I draw the G and I play Prig, which is way down the list in terms of value, but yeah, I mean, these aren't good plays. If I look at Prig against Pima or Puma or Puri, I think in this position, Prig is going to do okay in a simulation. I guess the G has more value than usual because of all the N's that are unseen. So keeping the G is not the worst thing ever. Oh, copy? Maybe that's how you pronounce it, copy. So yeah, I guess I should have kept the G, but you guys know the rules. No G, everyone knows the rules. Sometimes I make mistakes because I hate the G. But yeah, this just has really bad. I saw that I had meow. I think this play is better than what Quackle thinks because I think a lot of the time Quackle thinks I'm going to play meow through the O, which is just really bad. Yeah, it might still be worse play than others. Probably is. Because it's just so... It's so vowel heavy. So, yeah. Peter plays Vimin. And I'm only up 3 points. So I'm sort of like, maybe I should have taken the bye at this point. I'm only up 3 points and I have 2 U's. But I play Unicum. Could also play Mucin. Get rid of both of my U's. And Peter plays Ionic, I believe, to the C. And I draw into this rack, which looks bad, but I have this really nice play of Ariel, 33. Peter plays Obi, overlapping for 25. And here I draw this very interesting rack of AAANOOX. And Yeah. What to say about this? There's a play of Oxo for 53, keeping 3 A's. That's just the play. But you're keeping 3 A's with a lot more to come. So I play Oxo, now I'm ahead by 65. And Peter takes a long time here and plops down Rodiest, which is not a word. And I promptly challenge that off. So, yeah, my AAA and leave, I actually do incredibly well. And I also got a free turn out of it all. So, considering his rack, I saw that he had Shoddier through the H that he had missed. So I figured that I should block that, but I wasn't sure if I should because he didn't see it last turn. But I felt like he would probably see it this turn after the lost turn. So I felt like I had to kind of play to block it. So here, instead of all these cool plays on the C column, I decided to play Tat. But I could play Stat. Get rid of my S. I think the S has some long-term value, so I should probably keep it. But I played Tat to block Shoddier. And he has the same rack. And he still has a bingo, which I totally missed, of Dihedron. So if he had played that after my play of Tat, I would have been a bit tilted. Because neither of us saw it. Luckily. He plays off OD for 13. Dihedron. Wow. I didn't see Dihedron. Only Shoddier. Oops. Okay. So he plays OD, and I have this rack. No, I don't. Yes, I do. And I know what his letters are. Well, I know most of his letters. I know he has DIRE blank. And so I'm kind of worried about high scoring bingos to the Y. So I don't really want to play something slow. But I should play Elaine. Because Elaine is an adjective. I didn't want to just play Anel because he could hook it. This is a bingo lane at 09 after Anel. But after Elaine, this doesn't exist. So Elaine is by far the best play. I just totally missed it. What can I say? Last game of the day vibes or just really bad? But I played Anel's. I just put the S on for 2 extra points so as to make sure that this isn't a bingo lane. And considering his leave of DEIR blank, I figured that he would have a hard time using this spot. So I know he has these 5 letters and he plays Desi. And yeah, this game just gets a bit weird because I could now just like play for a ton of points on the C column, which I probably should do, but instead I played Abaya just to block whatever was left of the bingos he could have on the 14 and 15 row. So very weird stuff. I don't really know what to say. He has R blank. He plays it for 16, trying to set up a bingo lane, but it is quite see-through, quite transparent, and I have just the letters to score super well, so I play Duff. He plays Grad. And now it's the end game. So what exactly happened here? I have this rack, and I must not have made the right endgame play. This is a very complicated one because he has a blank and like a bunch of possible outplays. Okay, it's saying Turl. Let's see what happens after Turl. I didn't play Turl. He does this. And I go out with Nest. And win by 112. Instead, I played Etna. A very similar idea. Threatening to go out with List. And he plays... Earwig. Okay. So my play was a very similar idea, but didn't block all of his outs. I see. Did not block Earwig. Very bad. Okay. So he doesn't play Earwig. He plays AWE. And I go out with List. No, I go out with Slit. Okay. I guess that's how I was feeling. And I win 440 to 326. All right, fantastic. So that's game 28. Very weird game. Starts off with a huge bang, and then the rest of the game is just like weird stuff. Like everyone's just making like random seeming plays. But anyways, yeah, it was a weird situation. Very weird situation. Our game was the last to finish, so it was very rowdy. It was the last game of the day. I was like really scared of catching COVID from Peter. And yeah. Anyways, Thrawn Lee. I'm gonna remember that. Thrawn Lee. I mean, I guess Thrawn has to be a word. Obstinate, twisted, wry. Okay, quite the word. But yeah, let's go to round 29, honestly. This is a whole new day. This is the last day of the Word Cup. And I am paired against Lisa Odom, who I said this about Lori, but Lisa and Lori and Robin Pollock Daniel and Maddie Kamen of today's era, they seem to be the strongest female expert players in the game. Now Chloe Fatsis is making the rounds, so Chloe might have a higher peak. But yeah, because Lisa and oh, thank you for the follow, Xmon. Lisa, Lori, Maddie, and Robin, they're all I think maybe in their 50s. They're all kind of close to the same age. I don't know who's older, who's younger, but yeah. So they've been really good for a long time. And Lisa's just such a pleasure to be around. So it's happy to play her, especially since I just like playing people I haven't played. I like minimizing repeats. So I was first. I exchanged JVC. If right behind you is here, he understands the reference that I'm making, but otherwise it's completely random what I just said. Lisa plays Podia, and I draw into actions through the O for 94. So good start, and neither of us opened with a bingo. Very, very interesting. Very suspicious, I might say. So she plays Ova. I play Walk. I think Walk is similar to Foo. Foo has some nice scoring potential with these letters, actually. I might have played Foo if I thought of it. The idea being after Foo, I might be hitting comeback plays harder if Lisa does bingo. So like, let's say if she bingos on the 7 row or on the B column, the AEKW leave might actually work out. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing by simulating the leave that she doesn't have. But yeah, here I played Walk. No funny business. And Lisa plays Learning, which takes an S. So I'm thinking about that, but I don't have an S. So here I play Foul instead of Foo. Again, Foo could have been the best play 2 turns in a row, but I decided to make a weird decision to shed an extra vowel, shed an extra consonant and leave EMO instead of ELMO, which goes against all of the teachings, everything I've taught you guys and myself. But why is it better? Because the L just doesn't help. It just doesn't help. I don't need the L. The M is a really good letter when it comes to ridding yourself of vowels. And yeah, my numbers are just slightly better by taking the 2 points. And the biggest reason to play Foul over Foo is to block the Walk's hook, which could hurt. Score a lot of points with that. So I play Foul. And Lisa makes an interesting play here of Goat for 9. I draw pretty well, THSS. And my idea of blocking apparently doesn't work. But here I should play Hosts. No, I shouldn't. Maybe I should play Mosts. Here I played Hoses. The MT leave is a lot worse than the ME leave. But the problem with Hosts is that it takes a G hook. And if there's any reason for Lisa to have the last G, it's after having played Goat like that. But yeah, still very unlikely she has it, and very unlikely she has a play with Ghosts, but I don't know. It's not good to leave hooks like that open for a long time, but it's likely to go away with a 15A triple play. So I probably should just still play Hosts, but I just wanted to play it safe. Played Hoses, but I think I would play Mosts if I had to choose again, just to keep the better balance. But yeah, M and T don't really go well together unless there's an E involved. And here Lisa plays Satiate. So now I'm only up 17, but I draw into a very interesting word of BizJet for 54, which is pretty cool. I was very happy with this. Leaving the same 2 letters as I had last turn. But BizJet, not a word you see every day. 54 points. Very nice. Here Lisa plays Boon for 19. And I overlap with Amp for 41. And of course, at any point Lisa could have a huge bingo with Satiates, and I actually did did well to protect that hook with BizJet. It's still the best play, but you'll notice how it's now a lot harder to access the squares that would block satiated, especially with 15L plays now being mostly blocked. So I'm kind of worried about it, but Lisa is also worried about it and plays FUD, which I'm very happy to see because I was nowhere close to being able to use the spot. And I actually don't know what my last two letters were here. But I played motor for 30. I know I was keeping 2 L's from the last turn, but I don't know what else I was keeping. So we'll just leave that blank. And after a long think, Lisa plays wait, what does she play? Why does it it says she played for 2 points. IN. I think she played IN for 2. I don't actually remember. That's annoying. But she played IN for 2, and I play virally for 69. So now the game is totally over. In a weird chain of events. But yeah. What else happens? Let's just end the game. She plays detrain. 65. Does she play it? Which spot does she play it in? She plays in this spot, giving me Kaid for 42. Keeping the X. So I had like just an embarrassment of riches here with like X bombs and Q plays, but I decided to play it safest. Block the triple, and keep the X. Here, she plays Ho for 25. Okay, so she plays Ho for 25 instead of playing here. Interesting. She just missed that spot. And I draw the other blank. Okay, I must be messing something up. Yeah, I don't actually know. Where did she play this? It's so weird. Oh, maybe she played EN here. Oh yeah, that rings a bell. Okay, let's go back. Virally, detrain. Yeah, I think she was like worried about high scoring plays with FUDs, which don't seem to exist. Like maybe ests. Yeah, those could happen. Yeah, then all this is the same. Plays HOE. And I have this rack, which was hilarious because I have bingo of execrate, but the problem with this bingo is that no, I was so worried that was gonna happen. We lost the game. We lost the game. All right, well, this is gonna be edited on YouTube, sadly. I was really worried that was gonna happen when I clicked that button. Sometimes you just know. All right, we'll go back. Sad. Soon this will never happen. We'll be able to do this all on Woogles. It'll never just crash on you for no reason. No. Boon. What? LRRT. Oh. Oops. Bud. Motor. No. N2. D-train. I'll probably like edit it from the point where I messed up her her IN play. Oh, she said she had this rack. She said she had tougher. Nowhere to put it. Okay, we're back here. And yeah, here I'm going to save 29. So the problem with playing execrate in this position is that it allows her to bingo out more often than I thought other plays would. According to the details, it seems that play of 5I axe, so right here, play I was considering, also allows similar bingos, but that's something like X is more defensive. But I think I should still play execrate. Wow, I clicked that button and it didn't crash Quackle. That's amazing. Normally Quackle crashes when you're simulating a tough position near the end of the game, or no, at any point. But most often it's when you use the sim and then you also use the championship player, which is the better endgame solver. Honestly, I'm so ready to be using something other than Quackle to analyze. Like, Quackle's been incredible. Like, without Quackle, I wouldn't be anywhere near as good of a player as I am now, but there's so many bugs and it's just not being maintained and it's just not, it doesn't look good. This is the best I can make it look. I mean, there might be improvements I can still make. But yeah, okay. So res, second best play, execrate, Nove. Weird. But anyways, I just decided to bingo. And here, here, what did she do? Twire, 24. And I had SEI. Okay, so this was her rack. Let's see if she made the best endgame play. Close. Ryer is slightly better. And I played SEI at end of the game 526 to 336. Increíble. So, after all is said and done, after 29 rounds, my record is 17-12. After being like 10-10, I think. Or even 10-11. I think I was 10-11 And then I went on a 7-1 run. So miraculous things happened, and I was now in a position to cash if I won both of my next games. But the next two games were against top fierce competition. And game 30 was against none other than Ian Weinstein. Ian Weinstein being one of the best players in North America for probably longer than I've been born. Longer than I've been alive, I mean to say. And he has a very open and aggressive playing style, which is sometimes kind of hard to deal with. And wouldn't you know it, Ian opens with I just want to make sure I get this right. Yeah. Oriole for 66. So, you're keeping track. This is the 11th time my opponent opened with a bingo in 30 games, which is by far the most improbable of all of the situations that I had up to this point. Of course, it bears mentioning that when it comes to Scrabble, absolutely everything that happens is incredibly improbable. However, certain standards apply. Like when you're talking about the probability of opening with a bingo, that's a stable probability. When you're talking about the probability of specifically opening with Oriole, that's a completely different story. So what I mean to say is every single thing that happens in a game of Scrabble is incredibly unlikely. But there are certain things that are like the mean that usually are close, like how many blanks you draw, how many S's you draw. So people like to focus on all of the metrics that are used to give people an idea of how lucky you were getting or unlucky. So people like to use whichever metrics are not in their favor to try and justify the premise that they were getting unlucky. And my choice in that is how often did my opponent open with the bingo? Because to me, that is way more important than whether my opponent drew both blanks. The likelihood of winning a game when your opponent of equal strength draws both blanks is actually pretty similar to the likelihood of winning a game where your opponent opens with a bingo. It's a bit tougher for sure. But when people talk about how many blanks they drew, they're not saying specifically where and when they got double blanked. But I think there's some data that like points to only winning like something like 15% of the time your opponent draws both blanks. And if we look at this play of Oriole, it's actually not that impressive. 66 points, and only wins around 2/3 of the time according to Quackle, which I mean that's kind of a made up number, but in terms of opening bingos, this isn't that bad. Here I play on fence, keeping the Z, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. Only down 18. Ian plays idiocy. And now I have this draw, which is like totally crazy. Where I can play Zoom or Comp or Mozo. And I guess I could play Vamp. Try and draw Y for Cozy. I don't think. I don't know. I don't actually know what the best play is here. Binex says he got double blanked 15 out of 30 times at that tournament. Did you have a bye? Because that's 30 out of 31 games. But it was not 10, it was 11. 11 opening bingos. But if you calculate the likelihood of getting double blanked 15 out of 30 times, I'm very curious to know how that compares to my metric. Actually, I'm gonna look that up after this. Yeah, it's a very bad use of mental energy and focus, Scott. You are absolutely correct. So people keep track of these things, right? Oh, how often did I get double blanked? And they focus on them, and it kills their game. It really does. I just knew it's hard to like. It would be ideal not to even think about it, but I just knew that it was happening way too often. I wasn't keeping track. I'm only keeping track now after the fact, but still, knowing that it was happening and knowing that that was like unlikely absolutely is a bad use of mental energy and focus. Completely correct. So apparently Zoom is doing better than Comp, Mozo also. So Quackle doesn't like me keeping the Z. Well, why would I play Mozo over Zoom? There's no reason to. Zoom is just better, uses the same letters. So I play Comp, and Ian plays Banty, giving me perfect spot for my Z, which is now with a blank. So how did that happen? I drew. Oh, sorry, I have an O here, right? Oh fuck. Okay, this is all wrong. I had an E, not an O. Okay, so comp is just the play. I considered move as well. Okay, let's put comp and move. Let's see. Move has a much better leave. Yeah, I remember this position now. Put a lot of thought into move because I drawn to like was and whiz and zowie and like all this stuff that might actually be pretty good. Here played comp. Iron plays Banty, giving me a spot for the Z, as I just said. So I play Z with my Z. And Iron makes a really nice play of fetal with the O. It's just like such a hard word to spot. I don't think I would have seen it. So just showing his chops here. And here I make a mistake. I actually looked at this game. I don't know if I looked at the whole game. I think I did actually. Yeah, I did look at the whole game. So here's where I went wrong. I didn't have a D. He did Canada, yeah. So in this position, I played bow. This is all... No. Yeah, I don't have an M. Why am I so bad at this? Okay, so in this position, very normal play, obvious play is Val for 22. But of course, my wandering outside the box mind decided to consider bow a bit more than I normally would. So normally you just play your V. It's one more point. It's worse tile. But I was looking at what bingos I was drawing that I could find with these two leaves. And all the bingos I saw basically led me to believe that this was a better leave. I saw punitive. I saw pivot men, pivot man. I saw like prevent as a 7, but it doesn't do anything. Anyways, it just seemed like, I don't know if I saw anything else through the A, but it seemed like I was drawing more bingos on this board because it's very important to make the play here that draws more bingos on this board. This might be a better leave in a vacuum than this, which it is. It's 4.1 points better in a vacuum. But if you have nowhere to put the bingos you draw with the leave, it's not. Yeah, B and P don't go well either. However, it's still a much better leave. I just thought that the things that I was drawing more things with this, and I'm wrong. I actually analyzed this in depth with some other masters, Scrabble masters or whatever, and yeah, all of the available bingos, I missed a bunch of available bingos, like B paints, B sprint, like all these bingos I just didn't see with the BPNT leave. So this was actually a bad mistake. And this is not a mistake you should ever make, of course, because the obvious play is obvious. But yeah, if you think too far outside the box, you might want to make plays that are off the beaten path like this. And sometimes they'll be good, but other times they'll just be bad. There's really there's nothing, the only difference between these two plays is the 1 point and how many bingos you're drawing. There's absolutely nothing else to think of this position. Okay, Val, great. Like you have an A hook. With Bo, you have an L hook. Congratulations. Those are completely unimportant. Yeah, fancy play syndrome is what this is called. So I play bow or bow, and iron bingos with alarmed for 88, and I do not bingo. I draw into this rack, and I play fought, which I think was the best play when I analyzed this before. And unfortunately, Ian, plays XIS for 40, and now he's ahead by 100. However, fortunately, my V turns into gold, and I get reinvade for 86. So I'm only down 13 points. Ian plays tisking. You don't see that word all the time. 36. And here I think I made another mistake. I played Jeer instead of Gian and instead of Joel. And I did a bunch of analysis here, and I think the consensus was that the bingos I'm drawing by playing here instead of playing here are not really worth going for. I was holding on strong to this idea that I should play in this position because if anything happens on one part of the board, the other part of the board will still be open. But I think Joel was just better. I think the EERR leave was just better. I don't actually remember what the conclusions were. But I think the EERR went better with the P. But I don't remember. I keep saying I don't remember, and I keep on saying things, so I'll just say I don't remember. The reason I played Jeer was that if I drew the Q, I could play it in multiple spots. Whereas if I played Jeer here and Ian had the Q, he would block with the play with QU. I had some very deep understanding of what I was going for here. But I figured that if he had QI, I was in big trouble no matter what. But if he had the Q without an I, or without, like, this is a really complicated thought process. I don't even remember it. It's like 2 months ago now. But I like put a ton of thought into this play, and I don't think it's the best play. But indeed, Ian had quota. I think I was basing some stuff off of like tells and shit too, but you can quote me on that. Rue. Oh no, maybe I played Jeer here. Wait, what did I actually do? No, okay, I played where I said I played. But sadly, I draw pretty poorly here, and I decide to play Rue. I think here was another mistake. I think I was supposed to play Lulu. I think that was a better leave. Yeah, Lulu was a better play. Even though ELRU seems to be a better leave than EORR, Lulu is better. And Ian plays Evangels, and I play Plushier. And the game is over because the bag is empty. And it's Ian's turn to go. And he has this rack. I have AIITTW. But I mean, you have to play Plushier here because you're not drawing into anything better than that. Like even trying to play something like UT or something, it's just not happening. So I was just hoping for like an amazing draw, which I didn't get. And Ian has a ton of wins here, but he took his grand old time because he has to be totally sure that what he's playing is winning. And so he found a win in aired, and he's stuck with it, which is what you want to do in that position. I play Trois for 26. He goes out with Vogue, and he wins by 12. So, what does this mean? This means I'm 13 and 17, or 17 and 13, and probably not cashing at World Cup because 18 and 13 will only cash if a bunch of things happen in my favor. So a bunch of separate events to me maybe winning the next game had to go one of two ways for me to cash. So I was very, very upset after this loss. I thought my World Cup was over. but there was still one game to play. And I wanted to win that game by a lot of points. And that game was against fellow Canadian, Sam Hollington. So we're going to go straight to the end here because I'm done. I want to be finished with these games before the work week commences. And yeah, start on the Scrabble Players Championship games as soon as possible. So I got paired with Sam, who was doing well in the tournament, but generally is not as high rated as the other people that were doing similarly to us. So I thought this was a good pairing for me. I wanted to try and make the best of it. But of course there wasn't any old reason or any odd reason that Sam was doing well. He was definitely playing well. But sadly for you guys, I have no racks to work with. I can only infer based on my jottings what my racks were. So here I played keys, keeping ARS, setting up my other S. And Sam played Yid. I drew into staring. Sam plays door. And I immediately draw into another bingo of unicolor. However, wait, play that for, yeah. However, I have just a 7-letter word here of colonus, which I should have known at that point because I had studied all of my 7-letter words that I did not find. Played unicolor, and I was actually wondering if this was a word, inoculoid. But it is not. Like inocula. So I play unicolor instead of colonus, which is really sad. I just didn't see the word. And Sam plays boa. I play coevil. Sam plays odia. And I play end planes. So the game is over. Sam resigns. Well, no, he can't resign, but he would, potentially. Or not. Depends how he feels about the situation. So he plays for 23. I play U for 34. He plays iota. And you can just see, based on his plays, what he's dealing with. Too many vowels, some bingo tiles, some not bingo tiles. And it was just like, wow, this game is just going way too well. And here I made an absolutely terrible play. One that boggles my mind to this day, why I played this. But I play Eocene. Now, this play doesn't look so terrible at face value. I have a lot of vowels, gets rid of those vowels, doesn't open any huge scoring spots or hooks. And yeah, sort of blocks a sevens lane. But the problem with this play is It's horrible. I'm never losing this game unless Sam gets incredibly lucky. And how do I create a situation for him to get incredibly lucky but putting an E at B7 for him to play an 8-letter word, tripling a Z, opening a triple, opening a triple on the A column, and scoring over 100 points. He doesn't even have to have a bingo with the Z. He could have a bingo with like that scores like 90 points and opens all this stuff. This is an absolutely catastrophically terrible play for the simple reason of allowing a bingo at B1. I don't know if I had another O, but if I did, Kui would be better. I don't know what my leave was here. But of course, I'm not playing Eocene here, because that immediately runs into triples. But just anything. Anything that doesn't open a triple or anything stupid is just miles better than this play. I do not care if Sam bingos through this I. I do not care if he bingos on the 7 row. I just don't care about any of that. And I'm creating a situation where he can come back. I think this is the worst move I played all tournament. Bar none. It's just so dumb. And it's not like I didn't think about it. I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm scoring some points, like blocking the lane, potentially clamping down on the board. And if I get one turn to do something, then Eocene is totally fine. If I get a free turn. But I'm not getting a free turn. It's Sam to move. So allowing something like this when you're ahead by so much is absolutely terrible. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm pissed off about that. Sam plays Minx, finally scoring some points. And I'm like, okay, what have I just done? I need to get the hell out of this scenario. Because now, if Sam does get a bingo at B1, it opens 2 triples, which again, like these things happening are extremely unlikely, but they can still happen. I could still lose. And you should be asking yourself every step of the way when you're up by 160, how do I lose this game? How do I lose this game? Good point. The C also forks the board, making it very difficult to get rid of threats. Luckily, again, if I get a free turn, let's say Minx was just a 0-point play, I can just make a play here on the 9 row, a 4-letter word, which will interfere with everything at once. So, although yes, the C immediately just cuts things up, I can just use the board as my weapon and shield everything with a 4-letter play that scores nothing. Anyways, I play Imp and I'm just like, wow. Why did I play Eocene? What a stupid play. So here, Sam plays Raj. Again, he's played a couple of slurs here, but it's okay. We were playing with slurs. It's all good. And yeah, sorry again for not having the racks. Here I played Gutty for 23, yeah. And Sam makes a really nice play of Ferriola. 41, reopening top of the board. And I think I can determine what my rack was here. DEEEIILQRSUG. Okay, BGHRTV blank. And I play Verb. Because here, it's very interesting. Sam could have something like Squeezed or Squeezer or reliques. There's actually a ton of bingos you can have that score over 100 points. Maybe not a ton, but a few that I definitely need to avoid. So I play verb to block all that nonsense. Here Sam plays sequel, emptying the bag, and I have this rack. And I'll ask you to pause the video here and try to find the best play in this endgame. Because this is the last play. Potentially the last couple plays or play of the Word Cup. And yeah, it's really funny because when I played the word that I played here, I didn't actually think it was valid. But luckily it was. Anyways, I can't lose. Even if I pass all of my turns, I guess Sam could make phonies and he could win that way. But this is an unlosable position, but you want to maximize your point spread. Does anyone in my Twitch chat who's been very, very silent in terms of an audience, which I appreciate, I guess, want to chime in on this position? Because it's pretty funny. Give you a few seconds. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. One wonderful fish. So, it's a bingo. And it's pretty sick. It plays on the end column right here. Girthed. Oh my goodness. Girthed for 93. Can you believe that idiocy? That I would end this game and end the Word Cup with a 4-way overlap in a completely dead-looking part of the board. Completely insane. So girth, 93 points. Of course, we went to the challenge computer because it's a free challenge, but Sam said he thought it was good. And Sam was just an incredibly good sport and always has been. And he congratulated me for the game. I personally think that after playing Eocene, no one should congratulate me for anything ever again. But sometimes better lucky than good. And this is definitely one of those times. And I end the tournament 18-13 with 1,200 or so point spread. And everything that needs to happen for me to cash happens, which involved Kenji Matsumoto losing his game. Which, I mean, part of me didn't want. I don't want Kenji to lose, but it was the only way I was going to cash. So Kenji lost, I think, to G Placard, to Jared, pretty sure. And I won, and won by enough that I wasn't overtaken in spread by Kevin Fraley, who also finished with the same record. And I got 8th place. 8th place, and cashed in the Word Cup. And yeah, of course, it's not really about the money. The money is just something that keeps you going, allows you to invest in taking Scrabble trips and playing in tournaments. But yeah, it was more about the concept of not cashing in what I would call one of the weaker fields of our time, weaker top fields of our time, and just feeling like I've actually like was able to tassel with the best of the best. That was the most important thing, but I was definitely hoping to do a lot better than I did. So I was still pretty disappointed, but very happy for my friends who did super well. Jackson finishing in first place, winning 10,000. Sid Morali finishing in second place, winning 4,000, and all my other friends who did well in the other divisions. Luckbox Lind winning his, and yeah, everybody else that did well. But of course, for you to do well, other people have to do poorly. And that's just how it works. So you're definitely going to have friends that don't do well or that don't cash. That's just par for the course. But yeah, thus concludes my first 31 game championship tournament of the summer. And I hope everybody learned something or entertain themselves. And I'll be back very soon with the second championship of the summer, the Scrabble Players Championship, which occurred around a week and a half after this tournament. That was in the Chicago area, and the Scrabble Players Championship was in the Baltimore area. So I had around a week to travel around before making my way over to Baltimore. I had a great time visiting Madison, Wisconsin, meeting some friends there, and then going to St. Louis for many days, and going back to Chicago, and then going to Baltimore. I had a fantastic time, and yeah, was hopefully going to be prepared for championship number 2. So looking forward to bringing those games to everybody, and goodbye to YouTube.